Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the KITZUR HILCHOS SHABBOS, and today is Shumin Basar, fatty meat. Ima Basar Shemen ve'eino roitze lechol hashumin. If the meat is quite fatty and you don't want to eat the shumin, you don't want to eat the fat. Even though many people love the fat, that's the most geschmacka part, but not good for the arteries, not good for the cholesterol. So a person that says, you know what, I don't want to eat that fat, as chal ala shumin shem psailis, then the shumin, the fat, becomes the psailis, the unwanted part of this meat. V'tzrichim lihizaya eich mafidim hashumin min habasa. You have to be very careful how to separate the fat from the meat. That you should not come to the prohibition of bayrir, of separating. So KITZUR yasa. Now we've spoken about this before, but now he's going to get into all the technicalities. You need to cut the meat away from the fat at the time that you are eating. Then what you're doing is eating the food from the psailis, that which you don't want. You're taking the good from the bad. Even though you're doing it with a kli, a fork and a knife, no problem. As we mentioned before, at the time of eating, you're allowed to use utensils to make the separation. It would seem to be, he says, that even samach l'suda, close to the meal, not even before you're sitting down, you'd be able to do it in such a way. But if you want to remove the fat much earlier than the meal, either you have to cut everything in the place of the meat, so that when you cut out the fat, you leave some of the meat that you do want together with it. And it should even be like some of them say it should be like a good piece of that meat. So it shows that you are not really separating the bad from the good. You're putting the good over here to the side. You have to cut in the place of the fat. You leave a piece over, like we mentioned above. Now let's say, okay, you're very health conscious. You don't want the fat. You don't want the cholesterol. You don't want it to clog your arteries. But you know what? You have somebody who's there with you at the meal. They just want the fat because that's the tastiest part of the meat. And they want to eat it. Then it comes out to be that this is like separating the good from the good. And therefore, if this person wants to eat it, now make the full separation. You see what we wrote above. And so too, if you have chicken and the skin is still on the chicken, again, some people, the skin is the best part. The spices are on there, the fat is on there, the oil is there, it's the best part. Some people say, no, I'm health conscious, I don't want that skin. So what do you do there? Someone doesn't want it. Nechshav like psailis, the skin becomes like the psailis. It becomes like what do you call it? It becomes like that which you don't want. And therefore, if you're separating the skin from the meat, so therefore that would be considered boirer. However, as we mentioned above, that since just like a peel on an orange, the only way to get to the orange is to peel off the peel, that's not called boirer. Since for you the skin is not what you want, the only way to get to the meat is to remove the skin, so you can remove the skin itself in order to get yourself to the meat of the chicken. Have a wonderful day.